Anti-bucket list. What's something you'll never do again? Bungee jump. As soon as my feet left the edge, all I could think was, well, that was stupid. It was exciting and probably safe enough. But it was enough for me to know I will never willingly do that again. Me too. I enjoyed it, but having all the blood rush to my head gave me a serious headache for 3 days. Not worth it for 72 hours of head pain. Edit, I don't want to put people off giving it a try. My experience is not necessarily the same for everyone. It's a hell of a rush and I did enjoy it. I don't regret trying it in the slightest. It's just not something I'll likely try again. So, fun fact that I learned after bungee jumping was that apparently if you have severe myopia, it's not recommended at all. I had gone and had a blast, until I felt a pop in my eyes and got a migraine and spots in my vision. Turns out, I had a mild vitreous detachment in my eyes that has left a small dark spot in my vision 7 years later. So yeah, probably won't be doing that again. Thanks for sharing. Camping by a river that was flooded by melting snow from an area that was 6 hours away and having to be heli rescued. It was ducking embarrassing. Your username tells me that might not be your last camping mishap. Oh, I don't doubt it. That's the spirit. Assume that every co-worker is a friend. Edit, this is the most upvoted and awarded thing I ever posted on Reddit. Thank you all. I guess we were all burned by our optimism with befriending coworkers at some point. I hope you're all surrounded by much better people now. Work at McDonald's. Never again, never again. Do you still hear the words, "What's the ask me" in your sleep? No, but I hear the goddamn frying machine alarm all the time. Sama thought shit got me PTSD. Go to Disney World's Magic Kingdom on Christmas Day. Shoulder to shoulder people, insane lines, and nothing special I couldn't see earlier in the month. This is true for New Year's and the 4th of July. Other than the fireworks that were different, the park was ridiculous and we sat around most of the day. Smoke. Did it for 14 years. I feel so much better having quit. Been about 10 years since, and the amount of money saved and the smell and the cough. I quit 3 months ago and this is the best I've felt since childhood, lol. I shudder at that nasty feeling in my mouth. Just quit myself. Feel way better. Swim in the sea at night whilst drunk. Nearly drowned. Friend of mine died that way. They found his body 3 days later. Be careful, internet stranger. Uncle died the same way. They put a bench with his name at the lakefront. Settling for a relationship knowing you are not really happy. Never. Again. Stay at a job, am unhappy at edit. Thanks for all the awards. It can be scary getting back out there. I hate job hunting, but a bad job or toxic workplace can really suck the joy out of life. There are always more jobs out there. Working in academia, left 2 years ago and never looking back. Duck that noise. Birthing without an epidural. I had laughing gas instead. Made me high as a kite. I screamed in pain while I was dissociating into space. I had complications during my C-section surgery. They gave me ketamine. I remember still being able to feel the pain, all while hallucinating. I thought I was alone in a spaceship. My spouse was apparently right next to me, but I couldn't see him. Ketamine sounds so unpredictable and terrifying. It causes dissociative anesthesia, where your eyes are open during surgery but you don't feel. The only problem is that it causes hallucinations on waking from anesthesia, which can be terrifying, so waking from ketamine anesthesia should be done in a dark, quiet room while sedated. Strong lights and loud noises make the hallucinations worse. I had this as a child. I was being checked for colitis, affirmative, and woke up in a bright room with a nurse sat next to me. I was hallucinating, and asked the nurse if I should be awake yet. The dickhead decided not to answer a straight question, "You can if you want," and I cried thinking I was going to be awake through the procedure. He grew a big black mustache and a sombrero. Then a filing cabinet grew a cactus that also had a mustache and sombrero. They danced together while I cried. Edit. As this gains traction, I feel I should add that the nurse was full on bald, shiny headed until the sombrero grew in. He was stony faced as they danced silently. The cactus had a drawn on smile. There were 3 other children in the room. They danced together while I cried. I'm so sorry, but this is hilarious. Seriously, I feel so bad for laughing out loud, but I visualized the whole thing and it was hilarious. Getting attached too quickly to someone that wanted me first. Getting played by someone like that is a different kind of pain. If you lost interest, make it more obvious, geez. I've been at points in my life where I've been so desperate that my standards drop to likes me. It feels like shit just trying to connect with anyone and everyone and seeing where it goes. I've lost a lot of friends because I tried to turn the friendship into something it's not. I would like to think I've improved, but I still am desperately wanting a relationship. This is something you don't hear people talk about enough. You always hear about unrequited love from the perspective of the lover. It can be really confusing from the other side as well. When someone is so open about liking you, it can feel like you owe them a chance. You don't want to break their heart. But the truth is, if you need to convince yourself to be with someone, it's probably not going to work out. Binge drink. I used to go on benders for a week or two. Now I barely ever drink. Working my way out of this shitty habit myself. Rent a car while visiting NYC. That's like asking to babysit someone's kid on vacation. This analogy will now be used too often. Any job involving tech support or customer service. I'll starve before I deal with entitled older people who demand the latest technology, but refuse to learn how to actually use their new technology and expect the world to bend over backwards to satisfy their unrealistic demands. Half of them don't think plugging in their TV is a requirement before calling and screaming that this darndest, useless smart TV don't even want to come on, and I've tried everything. My old dumb TV lasted 40 years and never had a problem. Now tell your boss, Mr. Netflix, to send me a new TV and give me a refund. I did 6 months of customer service at Netflix. Ironically, one of the best employers one could have for a customer service job. Don't get me wrong, it's still a customer service job, so it's still shit. Just a lot less shit than most other customer service jobs seem to be. We got paid significantly over minimum wage, we're not rushed to end the calls ASAP, we're not told to try and sell anything, and the main thing they stressed on us was to actually try and help the people to the best of our ability. If that takes 2 minutes, great. If it takes 4 hours, equally great. And I have to admit, it was not something they just said. They lived and breathed that attitude. I still have a strong dislike for customer service jobs, but my respect for Netflix as a company grew a lot during my time there. Because their business model is based on retention, not just churning customers. And they don't have a legal monopoly like ISP companies. This right here is the most important part. Netflix can't afford the kind of bad press Comcast gets. Comcast can literally do anything that isn't illegal, even that isn't completely true, and suffer no ill effects to its business. ISP regional monopolies are so ducking ridiculous. I refuse to ever do retail again. People are literally such assholes and don't realize you're trying to help them and still get their job done. After 20 years with Walmart, both hourly and salaried, and 5 with Michaels, I almost killed myself. If my dog hadn't come up to me that night and just rested her head in my lap until my eye broke and started to sob loud enough my wife woke up and took me to the hospital, I wouldn't be here today. Duck retail. Fuck it up the ass with a chainsaw. Edit. Thank you all for your kindness and empathy. You're all amazing. Just so everyone is aware, because a few people reached out, my mental health is much better now and I'm working for a company that values me and I love what I'm doing. Jesus man, I'm sorry that they broke you like that. You really spoke to me about what I'm dealing with. Nobody should have to endure that kind of embarrassment, ridicule, and abuse just to put some food on the table or keep the water hot for another month. Speed, amphetamine. The high doesn't feel like a high, but everyone around you can see that you're out of your mind. And the come down was the only time where I truly wanted to die. Absolutely horrible. For reference, I've taken lots of other drugs and experienced different come downs, nothing compared to that. Does the come down make you depressed or what? Yes, and in that case suicidal. Had to have a friend sit with me for hours to make sure I would be okay.